Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Mishal Saeed, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Deborah Cantrell joining us, known as Chef Deb, the founder of Chef Deb, joining us. With over 20 years as a serial food entrepreneur, she now coaches personal chefs, caterers, and bakery owners to clarify their vision, streamline operations, and grow their businesses through private coaching, masterminds, and various workshops. We'll explore her founding story, how Chef Deb is transforming the culinary business, and the vision for scaling this mission-driven company. So let's dive in. Deborah, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much. And you can call me Deb.
Perfect. Deb, take us down memory lane. What inspired you to found Chef Deb to coach culinary entrepreneurs?
It actually started, I have another company called Savor Culinary Services. It is about 23 years old now. And I started that company because my son was supposed to have high functioning autism, severe ADHD, long story. Found out how his body used food, and basically all we did was change his food. That led into the growth of a much bigger company. I ended up with restaurants, I ended up with all kinds of things. About 12 years ago now, I started having a lot of people, friends, and just acquaintances contact me about coaching them and in business. And now we coach everything from restaurant owners to personal chefs to bakers to caterers to food truck owners. It's not those few that you mentioned. And it was more so just born out of necessity. People started calling, and I said, maybe I should make a business out of this. And we've been going strong for about 12 years. And we specifically work on scaling culinary businesses. So if you already have one and you need to get to that next level, that's what we focus on.
I love that. So you pretty much dived into the core offer, which is going to be the next thing I was going to ask. Scaling culinary entrepreneurs. As far as like a client engagement goes, what does that look like from start to finish, and how is success measured?
So typically what happens is I'll have to clean up my language a little bit. Typically what happens is we get a call and for lack of a better word, my business is running me. I have no life. That's because all entrepreneurs have a tendency to build their business and think the life will follow, when you have to build the life first and then have a business that supports that life. So typically what we get the call or the contact request that says, this business is running me. If this is success, I don't want it. My income is inconsistent. Like I have no friends, my family, like my whole life is just consumed by this business. It runs me. Can you help me? Because this is where I am, but this is where I want to be. And so what we do is we step in right there and we pull the business apart and say, okay, here's all the things that you need to do to get to the end result. But it's not just telling. There's some things that are done for you. There's some things that are done with you. And then there's some things, of course, that they have to do themselves. But we literally hold their hand. We have other coaches as well. And between all of the coaches and myself, we have hundreds of years of experience running different kinds of culinary businesses. But we do it everything from one-on-one coaching to masterminds to expert speaking calls. So our renewal rate in coaching is about 97%. So we have a 97% renewal rate ever since we started. On average, according to the profit and loss numbers that we've seen year after year, we usually, and nobody's going to believe me when I say this, but I have the numbers to back it up. We usually triple people's net in about a year. Net, that is your bring home, not total sales. Of course, that goes along with it, but what really matters is in your bank account, not your total sales. So we usually triple people's net. That's our measurement.
That's incredible. So yeah, even with your offer, it sounds like you really validated it through some of the results you've generated, and you have mastermind, you have that one-on-one coaching approach as well, which is
Right.
essentially a high ticket model that you have in place. As far as it goes with lead gen, how are you generating leads right now for Chef Deb? What does that look like? Are you doing paid ads? Is it referrals mainly? Walk us through that.
So that has been somewhat of a struggle because honestly, culinary entrepreneurs are hard to find. You wouldn't think that they would be, but usually they're so busy working in their business, they don't work on it. So they're not really attending a lot of conferences. If people attend conferences, then you're usually not the business owner because you don't have time. So I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of keynotes, different culinary conferences that helps. I also, of course, have a social media presence that helps. We do a lot of free webinars to people on our list, which we also do list building. We usually do paid ads during two workshops we have a year. We have one called Sharpen in January.
Mhm.
That is for culinary business owners to set their foundations for the next year. It's a
Mm.
time to come together. It's usually a smaller group, 50, 60 culinary entrepreneurs. They get together and they really work on their business. It's not a lot of speakers talking at you. Topics are presented, and then you integrate that your company right then and there. Like last January, a big part of it was using AI in your culinary business. That's 2 days. It's local here in Fort Worth where I live. And then every year in July, which I'm going to leave to go to in about 2 days, is we have a big CEO culinary business owners retreat. It's in this beautiful Airbnb that overlooks this beautiful lake in Montana. Year before last, we did that in Puerto Rico. So we have those two events every year, of which we do paid ads at that point. So
Oh,
list, social, speaking, and then in-person conferences and retreats as well.
love that. I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, especially you're doing paid ads during the time that you're launching the workshops. What's your perspective on building predictability on the lead gen side and doing paid ads throughout the entire year so that rather than relying on some of those in-person events, you'll be able to really target and go after your ICP, especially with the offer that you have?
I've tried that before in the past, different companies, different budgets, different platforms. And really and truly, it just doesn't seem to attract because about the only way that our ideal client is showing up is scrolling through Instagram or Facebook because those are not TikTok, not LinkedIn. It's been proven also not Pinterest, but Instagram and Facebook. And the problems with many culinary business owners is unless they're posting, they don't really have time to flip through it or the ads are not really popping up and necessarily speaking to them. So we've had big budgets, we've had small budgets. It just does not seem to convert.
Okay, and was this like an outsourced marketing agency that you had contracted?
Several.
Oh gosh, yeah. Probably used a cookie cutter approach, especially with the messaging and having to get that right. What does it look like with sales? What is your sales process right now as far as like having those conversations with some of the entrepreneurs you work with? Is it just yourself or do you have like a sales team in place?
I don't have a sales team. It's myself and then another person that is doing the converting. Again, this is not a company that's necessarily based upon volume. Culinary business owners have such a tiny margin in what they can spend outside. So there's a lot of people in there's the positions in my company, we actually end up doing multiple things. So it's myself and one other person.
Awesome. What is that next step for scale as far as like really wanting to grow and expand the team? Is that like the next step, taking yourself out of that sales role as a founder or
Yes, I've completely moved myself from my other company because I really want it to run without me, and Savor does run without me. That's the whole goal. And that's what we teach our culinary entrepreneurs is very much team-led company. With as we continue to grow, then my coaches will end up taking on the majority of my coaching clients, and I will continue to only work with what I call my legacy members, which are my $1 million up. That's my forte. That's where I live best at those companies at 1 million and over. And what we are going to do is probably we're working on creating a different kind of funnel offering that's more of a culinary business membership so that or association so that you can have access to resources and the things you need to grow your culinary business at a much lower cost. And then that will lead to some nurturing so that then hopefully one day they want to step into coaching.
incredible? Yeah. So pretty much it's a nurture funnel on the sales side of things.
Yes. Yes.
Now, as far as like the vision for the next 6 to 12 months, what does that look like as far as revenue, performance milestones? Paint that picture for us.
Revenue, we are looking at growing. So in the next 12 months, I just had this meeting with my team. We feel like that we can successfully grow to about 22%. That is our sales goals for this year. And what we have done for the next year is we've added some PR in so that we can start to get out there in bigger ways, maybe published in magazines as well as speaking on stages, more stages, those types of things. We hope to grow by net. We want to grow our net by about 45% more this
Mm,
year.
it's incredible. What do you feel like as a founder is like the biggest bottleneck to growth that you're facing? If you can share with our listeners,
Yeah,
lead gen, sales side of things, what is the focus for you as you're looking at scale?
lead generation.
Mm,
We have spent an astronomical amount in different marketing companies over the years, different ways to find these culinary entrepreneurs. And we are still trying to figure out what that golden string is or that magic bullet is. I know it for Savor, and we know who our ideal client is, but what we're coming up against is the rising cost of doing business, which creates an even smaller margin. And it's just getting the word out and paying attention. Even if they come to some of the free webinars, it's sometimes hard, even though we don't sell a thing on our webinars, it is a gift. And it is really hard to even get people to show up to free webinars. So that's been our biggest struggle.
do you feel like it's also maybe lack of top of funnel awareness where they may not even know to begin with that they have a problem to solve for as like an entrepreneur?
No, no, they all know they have problems. They are all very clear on that. It's the time to take care of it because so many of them are just working themselves to death in their business to the very last minute. And then there's no lead gen because they're just constantly trying to make money, get more clients, make more money. And when they have all these clients coming in that they're so busy, then the ripple effect of 90 days later, then all of a sudden they're like, where'd all the clients go? You never worked on it. You always worked in it. So that's why culinary entrepreneurs always say there's these huge ebbs and flows. There is some seasonality to it,
Mm.
but they're always just working their tails off. They never pick their head up to think, maybe I need to get more business when these go away. So it's a big struggle, big struggle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I can imagine, especially as a founder, you're looking to build a lot of that brand awareness and get that traction out there. Now, as far as it goes, we're wrapping up right now. What's one tool or resource, maybe like a coaching technique or business strategy that's been like a game changer for the success of Chef Deb?
One of the things I had a mentor that told me early on is she said, you always have to make decisions based upon where you're going, not where you are now. So make decisions based upon the business you want and not the one you have now.
Mm,
And I have always used that mentality because if I knew that I needed a bigger commercial kitchen but couldn't afford it, I thought, wait, am I staying here or am I growing? If I'm growing, then I have to make this decision now.
mm,
If I didn't really have the resources to hire my employee, but my team was working so hard and I knew we needed somebody else, then I had to stop and think, okay, if we're going to grow to here, there is no more capacity. So I have to hire that employee. And then I have to do the marketing and the sales efforts in order to make sure that they are paid. That's
mm.
been the biggest game changer for me when she told me that early on.
I love that. That's powerful. What's the best piece of advice you would give to the founders, entrepreneurs looking to follow in your footsteps and take a leap of faith and start something on their own?
That's just it. It's the leap of faith. So many times we get in our heads about, I can't, or I don't know how, or what if I don't have enough money, or what if I fail? What I'm going to tell you is that you will fail in that sense of the word so many more times than you will ever win. But each of those fails are going to teach you something so that eventually you start to win bigger and bigger. Entrepreneurs are so scared of the committee in their head. They're so scared of all the things that could go wrong that they never even start. If you never start, then you're right. You are going to fail. That's
Yeah,
the biggest thing that I tell people is you have to just start, even if it's ugly. Do it
yeah,
scared, do it ugly, make the mistakes. No one's going to remember but you. That's it. No one's going to remember.
yeah, 100%. I think that's the one thing, especially with entrepreneurs or those that are starting out, they're scared. What are people going to think if I'm getting myself out there?
Right, right.
Fear that holds people back. And there's so many who end up not even going through with the full plan to begin with, right?
That's right.
There you guys have it. Deb said it herself. Listen to that, listeners. Amazing. On that note, that wraps up an inspiring episode of Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your journey thus far with
You're welcome.
inspiring other culinary entrepreneurs to take that step and hopefully to more and more growth going into this year. We're going to be cheering you on the sidelines. To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, of course, to Founders Future, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also follow Deb and explore a little bit more about her coaching services at chefdeb.com and follow her on LinkedIn. We'll tag her profile in the summary below. And if you're interested in scaling and growing your business, don't forget to visit us over at closers.io, where we have trained appointment setters and we're offering world-class marketing and sales systems. So until then, everyone, keep climbing and we'll see you all on the next one.